The second thing is I always tell everyone who works for me as well, is when you're in a hurry, slow down. So I also feel like it's also very important to go slow and steady when you're analyzing a deal. People sometimes get emotional, they go very fast, and that's when mistakes happen. So it's funny, my Uncle Russell and I always say, when you're going too fast, take a minute and slow down.
My name's Alex Vidal. I am president of Related ISG International Realty, and you are watching the 105th episode of my show called TheCloserClub. And today we're talking with a Miami legend, Keith Menin. Keith, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy to be with you today.
All right, man. Well, listen, we have a huge realtor audience. You represent a lot to the realtor audience in South Florida, not only from a development side with Natiivo, but with all the restaurants and bars and hotels and nightclubs that you own. But we're going to get into that. Before we really dig deep into the questions, you started from working the front desk at the Shelbourne as a teenager to going to Cornell to coming back to where you're now principal of Menin Hospitality that really spans over 15 different brands. Share with our audience a little bit about your path to where you are today.
For sure. So thank you for having me today. You know, my DNA is hospitality. And as a young age, as you mentioned, I grew up where my family purchased a Shelbourne hotel in the early 1980s.
Okay.
So as a child, I was always there. I was running around the property in the kitchens and running around the back of the house and really, you know, always in the property, which is an unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
And at the age of about 16 years old, I called my Uncle Russell Galvin and I said, Uncle Russ, I want to work for you. I want to be in the Shelbourne. I want to see how this family business runs. So at 16 years old, I actually went to work there in the summertime. And I worked the front desk, to housekeeping, to concierge, to really every position. And what was beautiful about the experience was I got a chance to connect with people, because when you check in 50 people a day, everyone has a little different personality. And really, I learned how to kind of cater to everybody. And it was really amazing how to really take all that in. And that was really the start of my love for hospitality.
That's pretty cool. You know, it's interesting. When I've been in real estate now, it's going to be 23 years come July. Because we talked off camera about my little boys, but I also have a 22-year-old who's about to be 23 in July. And I started off as a secretary to the owner of the largest real estate company in Florida called Kai's Real Estate, a guy named Mike Pappas, who I'm still friends with today. And you're right. I think when you start from the bottom like you did and you work your way up versus, even though we you know, you had your connections with your uncle and all that, but when you start and you really get to know all those different job positions, you really get an understanding of how things work. It gives you a different perspective. Absolutely. So one of the things I pride my career on is creating raving fans. I think, as you know, and you've been in business a long time, it doesn't really matter what's in writing. If somebody wants to get out of it, they'll sue you. They'll do whatever, right? It's your reputation. It's really the raving fans that you want to create throughout the process. And I know that one of your mission statements at Menin Hospitality is exactly that. It's since the beginning, elevating the guest experience has been a true mission at Menin Hospitality. So what are some ways that our realtor viewers can learn on how to create raving fans out of their customers?
So it kind of goes back to my early start of the Shelbourne, where the sole goal is always to make the customer happy, and whatever that takes. So if somebody came to the front desk, I was a young 16-year-old boy, and they were talking about how they had a horrible flight into Miami because the plane was delayed and their luggage was missing. My first thought was, what can I do to make it better? So if it was giving out 2 free drink coupons at the lobby bar while their luggage arrived from the airport, or whether it was, giving them advice on where to shop and get some other things. My thing was always listen to the problem and then how to make them happy. So our mission is really guest experience and how to make them happy. And really, all of our staff, whether you're at the front desk, a general manager, you're a waiter, you're a server, we literally all keep our eyes and ears open, and our sole goal is how to make our guests happy. I think that's why when you see a hotel like the Gale in South Beach we operate, people and our clients actually think about it as their second home Miami. So there's clients who literally look forward to coming back and seeing Mike at the front desk and knowing that Miguel is going to be making their pizza and they're going to take a walk on the beach and say hi to the doorman Mike they remember. Everybody kind of does that. So we try to create this unique family where it's really about the hospitality business, and that essentially is making people happy. And
Sure.
you know, it's not on autopilot. So people think in a hotel, it's check in, check out, here's your room key, here's your restaurant. No, we look at it as when a person checks in, what's their vibe? Like, you know, are they happy to be in Miami? Are they excited for the first time? And if you hear them speak, oh, it's our first time here, the front desk person's trained to say, oh, then you should actually learn about the culture of Miami Beach House. So maybe you want to see the famous lighthouses or South Point Park. So we really try to get enveloped in our guests. And it's something that I do personally every day. And that's what I'm able to instill to my team is that, look, guys, anyone can check inside a hotel, but it's about learning why they're there, what they want to do to make their guest experience that much better.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's because there's a hotel on every corner pretty much, and you look at realtors as you work with Nelson Gonzalez, and Nelson, as we talked off camera, is an amazing guy. There's a reason why you work with him, even though there are 60-something thousand realtors in Dade and Broward County, and it's about that experience and knowledge of the marketplace and knowledge of what the customer wants and needs. I love that. Now, one of the things, and this is I've been looking forward to this question, is about the business lessons. So there were certain business lessons you learned. And I'm gonna break this question into two, and it's the business lessons that you learned pre-Corona, and then now that we're in Corona and you're in obviously a field that's been heavily affected by all of this. What are the new business lessons you've learned as a result of coronavirus?
So the truth is the three business lessons that I learned and I kind of live by still haven't changed.
Okay.
The first one is that there's no substitute for hard work, and due diligence is a key. So I believe in working hard, working late, and really doing due diligence. And you can never do more due diligence than you ever need. So you have to really strive for that. So my first lesson is I'm all about due diligence, doing it to the last minute, taking all that knowledge, formulating it into an idea, and then hopefully doing business. The second thing is I always tell everyone who works for me as well, is when you're in a hurry, slow down. So I also feel like it's also very important to go slow and steady when you're analyzing a deal. People sometimes get emotional, they go very fast, and that's when mistakes happen. So it's funny, my Uncle Russell and I always say, when you're going too fast, take a minute and slow down. So that's kind of my second thought in business. And the third part is numbers tell a story. So when you're looking to do a business, whether it's real estate, you're looking to do hotels, start with a pen and paper. It's much cheaper than brick and mortar. So in any business we do, we start with a pen and paper. And if something looks good on pen and paper, then we slowly take it down our conduit of how to do a deal. So those are kind of the three things that I live by. And that's really what I try to get everyone who works for me as well to also think about, because if you do those three fundamental things, you'll do much better, just in business in general.
That's right.
And with Corona today, we're rethinking how we operate, just like everybody is. So I think on the hospitality front with hotels and restaurants, we're rethinking about, cleanliness and safetyness and how to really be sensitive to the environment that we're in today. And we're really focused on it, right? Because it's something real.
Got it. Well, yeah, it's important. I think it goes back to the customer experience. If your customers feel safe in your restaurants, and it sounds like that's what you're all about, then they're going to feel comfortable going back to your hotels. They're going to feel comfortable going to your restaurants because they know that you're taking the proper precautions for them to feel safe. And if they feel safe, then they open up their pocketbook and here you go.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest lesson here, is to really take it seriously. Health and wellness is important. Yeah. So whatever we do, we always strive for health and wellness, but now's the time that people should really think hard about it and long about it and really be geared into that. So I think it's actually, it's going to be a positive thing.
It's funny. I love you said when you hurry up, when you're in a rush, slow down. I was involved in a real estate deal that I got emotional in on my first investment property, and we made a mistake, and it cost me $7,500. And it is what it is. But you're right. We were in a hurry. And we made a mistake, and you're right. I wish I should have listened to you then.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of these things, I learned from watching, right? So my Uncle Russell is like a father to me, who founded Crescent Heights and has done more real estate than probably anyone I know. I've watched him buy and sell 50,000 units, 100 different buildings, just tremendous assets around the world. And I always said to him, how do you do it all? How do you know to sell this building, sell that building? And when I went to go work from, when I was about 18 years old, one summer, he said to me, you want to learn the real estate business? Go to Atlanta. So I drove my car to Atlanta, and I literally worked 4 months straight in the summertime in between college years. And I wanted to learn how to sell units. So I did processing and sales and tours and construction. And when I got home, he said to me, how was your summer? I said, it was amazing. I said, but how do you know when to buy something to sell something? He said to me, Keith, you have to be patient. Don't be emotional. Look at the numbers on pen and paper. If they make sense, make a decision, and you do a deal. So really a lot of these things that I know today isn't that I was born with them, but luckily, I've been exposed to them all my life as a young age. And I think it's important that people learn these things, because simple things like slow down, take your time, don't be emotional, can be the difference of someone like you, I feel bad losing $7,500, or someone making $700. So the truth is, I see deals every single day, whether it's a business or real estate, because I'm truly a hospitality entrepreneur by nature. So I love all business in that space. And literally those three things are how I live by and how I think of deals all day long.
There you go. And it's funny. So I live across, you can hear the plane. Planes are now flying, which is, for us, is exciting because that means more people are coming to Miami. Planes are starting to fly more and more overhead. And I love the pen and paper analogy. I always tell my agents, put a pen to the paper. Don't think about it. Don't do it on an Excel spreadsheet. Put a pen to the paper. It really makes you work through the process and get it ingrained in your brain. Now, let's stick to, because you're betting really big. I mean, you've bet big on Miami, but you're betting bigger in Miami than you ever have before with Natiivo. So I want to break that down a little bit. First off, what is it about Miami and its real estate market in particular that makes you want to go from not only having hotels and restaurants and nightclubs, now getting in the actual real estate space and developing in Miami? And then we'll get into why Natiivo.
So believe it or not, I'm actually one of the few that are born and raised in Miami Beach. And I'm actually the fourth generation. Wow. So I've been here my whole life. And Miami really has been the world's vacation place since I remember being a child, right? It was a place where people came to vacation, and it evolved over time to actually be a place you can vacation, also live. So who wouldn't want to live in the best vacation spot in the world? So because of that, we've always believed in Miami. And I've done a lot of real estate in Miami. Natiivo now is definitely the most exciting project that I've been involved in, and my family are actually building. So we're actually really looking forward to it. And Miami is still a magical place. We have culture with the President Art Museum, Frost Museum, with the American Airlines Arena, the parks in front of Bayside, the Port of Miami. So to me, Miami is a place that has the amazing culture centers. And it's really just a fabulous place. So I think developing Miami is actually a great thing for us.
Got it. And it really, I don't think any of that's changed, right? Everything that made Miami special pre-corona, if anything, it's actually making it even more enticing, because who wants to be stuck in New York? God forbid if this ever happens again,
And it's funny about it, because believe it or not, New Yorkers and people from other cities are coming to Miami and they're buying real estate. With Natiivo, we've been selling very well. We adapted our sales pitch where we had to close our sales center, but our sales team's doing virtual presentations, and really our sales have been phenomenal. It's a lot of people from New York who are looking to move here, work here, and live here. And the one thing that they are looking for is amenities. And I think that's what we have. So for us, a lot of New Yorkers are coming here, right? Because, this has been a shock. So believe it or not, we've actually been very, very busy selling Natiivo.
So let's jump right into it. So tell me about Natiivo, exactly. So you guys went with the home share concept versus traditional condo. What was the thinking behind that, and kind of walk us through that whole concept and all that? I just lost it, Keith.
Oh,
there you go.
Hold on my back. There we go.
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry. That's the beauty of Zoom. That's the beauty of Zoom, right? So
I love it. So as I mentioned, my family's been in real estate our whole lives. We've done condominiums. We've done many condo hotels. In fact, I developed in 2004 one of the largest condo hotels in South Florida, known as the Mondrian.
Yep.
So I bought the property, developed it, and sold it as a condo hotel. And I've always been a hospitality entrepreneur by nature. So I'm always looking for what is the next thing in the hospitality space. And with this Natiivo project, we literally found a site that is second to none. It's right behind the Freedom Tower. It's a couple blocks from Port of Miami. Behind us to the right is the Bright Line, which runs from here up to Palm Beach, up to Orlando, which is a phenomenal means of transportation. We're a mile from the museums. and we're also right in the center of downtown Miami, and also Brickell. So I actually love this location for many reasons, as you can imagine. And the Natiivo is going to be a 587-story tall building. It's very, very big.
Yeah.
It's 51 stories, and it's phenomenal. 604 units, which is a combination of residential units, some hotel units, and also office condo space that's for sale, with 70,000 square feet of the most incredible 3 floors of amenities that I think any building has seen. So what I liked about this home sharing idea is it was this 2.0 way of saying it's not a condo, it's not a condo hotel, it's actually open to the world, powered by the people, do as you wish. So to me, this is really hospitality at a much better level today, which I think the world went to, because 10 years ago, there was no Airbnb. There wasn't really VRBO. There wasn't really home sharing. It was more hotels, apartments. So I think that, we saw this trend going, and I think that we're developing a product that I think that people are actually loving, because just gives max flexibility.
Yeah. Now, how does that, out of curiosity, I have my own opinions on how coronavirus is going to affect, let's say, the traditional Airbnb to hotels. I kind of looks like I went dark because it got sunny or got shady out for a minute. Airbnb, like your concept with Natiivo, versus the traditional hotel versus, single family homes and all that. How do you think the popularity of projects like Natiivo are going to take on post-coronavirus versus, let's say, the traditional hotel? Do they gain traction? Do they lose traction? Where do you see that?
So I actually think we actually gain traction, because I think people, when they start traveling again, are going to want to stay for longer periods of time. They're going to want spaces bigger than hotel rooms. So I actually think that it's going to be a good thing for our clients and for us, because we're going to have spaces that are brand new, that are large enough that, somebody can come and stay with us for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. I think that trend in travel is going to change. So the days of, let's go to Miami for 24 hours may still happen, or 40 hours, but I think people say, if we're actually traveling today, let's go for 4 days. Let's go for a week. I think families are going to meet and spend quality time together and have longer lengths of stay. So I actually think our products will be great for the new norm, because I think that we have that space that's offered. And because we have so many amenities, it's not just land in Miami, go check into a hotel, where do we go? You could literally land in Miami, be in Natiivo in 4 minutes, and stay there and have the best vacation ever because of what we're offering. So I actually like the fact that we're going to offer a product I think people are going to want nowadays, especially in travel.
It's interesting. I never even thought about that. Like, when you think about travel, you're right. A lot of people think, I'm going to go to Miami for a day or two. But depending on how travel changes, whether flights become more expensive because the flights aren't as packed as they normally are because they're going to rearrange the flights or whatever. When people make these kind of trips, they're going to make their trips for longer. They're going to get the most out of it versus it's no longer a $200 flight to Miami for a $100 hotel. Like, you're right. They're going to go. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So they're really going to get the most out of it. It's no longer going to be a night in Miami and that's it.
Right. And I also think that people want to spend time with other family and friends. So Miami's the best place to meet. So if you live inside New York, your best friend's inside Chicago, and your other friends inside LA, Miami's an easy hub to say, guys, let's all go to Miami. And they're going to want more space. And I think the clients can demand more from our industry. So I'm actually excited, because our building has so many things to offer that I think people are going to enjoy it.
That's right. I agree. That's I never thought of that, Keith. Thank you for that. That's a great way to look at it, especially on the travel part. So 2 last questions. One is, where can the viewers find information on the project? And the way we wrap up every single interview is we ask the guest for a book, podcast, or TED Talk recommendation for the audience.
So for Natiivo Miami, our webpage is the most information you can get, which is natiivomiami.com. But also our real estate is sold by Cervera Realty. So if you're on the Cervera network, they are all about Natiivo, and they have all this stuff. And our office condo, which is called Creative HQ, which is right below Natiivo's tower, is being sold by One Sotheby's Commercial. We're also phenomenal people. So their main Sotheby's site. So between those 3 things, you can contact Natiivo. If you want to buy a unit, you can email me directly. I'd love to get you with our sales team. And we're all
plug away, baby. Go for it. Plug it. This is what it's about. And that's so the website's natiivomiami.com, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then, all right, so book, podcast, or TED Talk recommendation for the audience.
So I would say recently I've been watching all the industry CEOs, as much as I can catch interviews, just to see what they're thinking about their industry and their companies, and really, knowledge is power, right? So I like to hear from those guys. I've been on the phone with Uncle Russell and Bruce Menin from Custom Heights, also two of the smartest guys I know, to try to figure out what they're thinking about the industry and also learn from them. Tony Robbins and all the smart motivational speakers. So I've really been like a sponge now, and watching what I can watch, learning what I can learn to try to put all this stuff together. And this has given me some downtime, some more time doing that, where normally we're running around so busy, we just don't have the time to do it.
That's right. It's funny. I think a lot of people are saying, oh, I can't wait to get back in the office. And then they're going to get back into the office. They're going to say, crap, I wish I was back at home again. Right?
Let me tell you, what, just like you, I just had 2 twin girls that are 14 months old that I'm in love with. And this time with them has been incredible. So I've been working a lot, learning a lot, spending good family time. So we're really making the best out of this.
Yeah, it works out. My vice president just had a baby like 2 weeks before we went on, remote working from home. So he was asking about paternity leave, and he got it, right? He got it with so, Keith, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You got it.